Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video. In this video we will be talking about the mechanics from All Will Be One. This video I should have put it out a few weeks ago, but I didn't, so yeah, my mistake. But yeah, we already went through the white and blue commanders. I'm looking up at my clock, which is Magic the Gathering themed. There's white, and it's in Woolberg order, which is white, blue, black, red, green. So yeah. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but the screen behind me, my symbol, the MZ on the blue, I made it look better because I straightened it out. And I also shifted my table diagonally so that you could get a better view. So I hope this is better. If it is, please comment down below. Also, another thing, join my Discord. This is going to be a quick video. I'm on the clock. I have less than 10 minutes left. So we're going to try to make this an under 10-minute video-ish. But yeah, I really hope that helps. Also, please join my Discord so that you have updated announcements when a video comes out and all that. Please go join my Discord. It would be very helpful to have someone to talk to. I only have Cookie Monster to talk to. Also, I think it's Cookie Monster. It might not be Cookie Monster. But shout him out. I used to have that written down somewhere. But yeah, we're going to get into the brand new mechanics. We have two new mechanics and one returning mechanic. So yeah, and I have cards to say. So the first mechanic is called Toxic. Toxic is like the new form of Infect. It still deals in poison counters, but the difference between Toxic and Infect is Toxic. It would say on the card like Toxic whatever, like Toxic 2, 3, 4, right? So like for a card that said, I'll read this one. This is Paladin of Prediction, I believe. It's 5 green for a creature Phyrexian Knight, 6/7, Toxic 6. And then Paladin of Prediction can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Paladin of Prediction, I'm just going to call him Paladin. He has Toxic for 6. So no matter if he could be a 40... No, let's not use 40. He could be a 30/30, okay? But he would still only deal 6 poison counters, or 6 Toxic, okay? Now, however, if this guy had Infect instead of Toxic, and he was, let's say, in 10/10, then the number of poison counters the player would get would be based on his power. That's the difference between Infect and Toxic. But yeah, Toxic, oh my mistake. We have another returning mechanic. And we have another mechanic in here. But yeah, that's Toxic. And then something that feeds off of this Toxic thing is called Corrupted. Now, poison counters will go onto your opponent and slowly kill them. Now, however, if they get 3 or more poison counters, they become corrupted. Now, that doesn't mean anything unless your opponent has a card out that does something. For example, this card, Corrupted, has tap, target, 1/1 creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Activate only if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters. That's what Corrupted does. So it's an ability, but it only happens if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters. So yeah, that's Corrupted for you. Corrupted is a mechanic that I think we will probably talk about a whole lot more when we get to black and green. There's black, green, and white because of Phyrexian Elesh Norn. So yeah. I might have already talked about some of these mechanics, but yeah. And then the Mirrodin, my mistake. I already talked about this card in blue, but it's Mirrodin. Whenever Blade of Shared Souls becomes attached to a creature, for as long as Blade of Shared Souls remains attached to it, you may have that creature become a copy of another target creature you control. That's why I didn't already talk about it. I will talk about it in an upcoming episode. I'm all mixed up. I think, let me find it. Oh no, I will talk about this card in the upcoming episode and how it's so good and stuff. But Formordian is basically a mechanic that when this, do I have it written on the other version? Hope I do. Yes, it's written on the other version. Formordian. When this equipment enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token, then attach this to it. And when it says this, it means the equipment. So it basically creates a 2/2 rebel that immediately attaches to the equipment, and it makes a copy of it. And that's not what Formordian does, but that's what the Blade of Shared Souls does. So yeah, that's Mirrodin. Oh, we have another new mechanic. How many new mechanics do we have? Hold up, I'm gonna count them up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 new mechanics. So yeah, 4 new mechanics and 1 returning. This next one is called Oil Counters. They aren't a keyword, and they have no inherent rule, meaning like they don't have a, like, it's not like when this creature gets an oil counter, they get -1/-1. No, that's not what it means. That they do something. Like for example, this card, Umbrask Forge, which is 2 in a red artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put an oil counter on Umbrask's Forge, then create X1 red Phyrexian horror creature tokens with trample, where X is the number of oil counters on Umbrask's Forge. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. So it creates 1 Phyrexian horror with its power being equal to X and its toughness 1, if that makes sense. So first time around it would be a 1/1, then it would be a 2/1, then it would be 3/4. Alright, you get the point. Alright, so yeah. That's what Umbrask Forge does, but not to be confused with like indestructible counters or like poison counters or something like that. Like they don't have no ability attached to it. It's just something to represent something, if that makes sense. And then of course we've got a bunch of new abilities, so why not just throw in Proliferate? Proliferating is extremely good in all of these cards because they all talk about counters, especially good with Infect. So yeah, Proliferating, if you don't already know, if it says Proliferate, like if a card says draw 2 and then Proliferate, it means you add a number of counters. You can add 1 additional counter to anything that already has a counter. So for example, if you had a creature with a +1/+1 counter, your opponent had an Infect counter, and your let's see, I'm trying to think of a third example. I can't think of one, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll just take those 2. Then you can proliferate. It can just be your stuff if you want it to be, but it can also be your opponent's stuff as well as your stuff. So like if you wanted to, I don't know why you could, but why you would want to, but you can proliferate your poison counters on you or any of your opponents if you wanted to. I would not do that, but you can. But yeah, and then you can of course also proliferate all your counters on your creatures, and you can also proliferate Planeswalkers, which is really good in cards that I will talk about in the upcoming episode. And I will talk, yeah. Proliferating is very good. If you want an example, here it is. 1 in a blue for an instant. Experimental Augury is the card's name. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, and then proliferate. It may or may not say proliferate once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, but it probably will not. So yeah. And then, of course, you can do -1/-1 counters, I believe. But you cannot proliferate your own life. I thought you could at the very beginning of all this, when I first started playing Magic the Gathering, but that was false. You cannot. You cannot proliferate your own life total. So yeah, those are all the mechanics, and look at that. We have 25 seconds left. So thank you for watching this short, under 10-minute podcast video. I hope you enjoyed it, and in the next episode, we will be talking about Corrupted Jace and all the cool cards that come with Jace. So yeah, thank you, and goodbye. Peace.